Hello, everybody. Corey here. I'm going to go over where I ended up in June for the YMax project. I want to put out a list of things I've run into, as doing these. I think I did a lot of them last time. Things, to think about or whatever, your biases and stuff when doing this. And I need to get a list together. But I know I mentioned a bunch of them last time. I'm sure I'll mention some of them this time. One of the things last time was, making sure that you actually buy in, in the time frame, which I didn't necessarily do last time. So then it was like that. Just made that one of the things, right? It's, things happen. It doesn't have to be perfect, which is why I've ended up doing an adjusted one here. So it's, adjusted based on what I should have done versus what I may have actually done. And then, of course, this month, I had some of those biases of, well, I didn't want to pay 30 something dollars for NVIDIA because, I had the expectation that it was going to come down. So I did not buy while it was that high. So, that's some of the biases that we have, when going into these, or we think they're going to go down and instead it goes up, like Tesla, for example. I guess just waiting on another red day because that's how I do things. And then instead, it started taking off right here at the end. So, I will tell you another thing where I screwed up for the month. Well, I guess it's the month of July and not the month of June. So I don't have to really cover that here, but it's about when new tickers come out and adding those to the portfolio. And so I did mess up on that the month before, but so we'll just go in here again. My workbooks still aren't exactly the way I want them to, but I really don't spend a lot of time on these workbooks. As and it's the only reason why. So I adjust them a little bit here and there. But if you haven't been following this, I guess I should have started. The point of this was to show if you created your own YMax portfolio versus just buying YMax, right? You would just buy the underlying tickers to try to be equally weighted. Of course, when I started this out, I started out with $1,000, and then each month I've just added $1,000 each month, and I have some formula set up here, that says basically I have this amount of money. So this is, like the percentage, equally weighted percentage. So this is about how much I would spend for each ETF. And of course, that's the number of tickers. So that tells me how much to spend. And then this just has formulas in here that tell me, based on that current stock price, how many I could buy and how many I should buy, and so forth. In this case, I believe some of these, like this one says 14 and there's only 13 here. And it may have been because we didn't have enough money to truly follow that, because this is based on the stock price at that second, not what was actually, paid for the stocks. So there's a couple of these that will not match 100%, but these were adjusted. Again, not exactly what I did because I had to adjust some of these. Just otherwise, if I just told you, well, I didn't buy all these, or I forgot to do this or that, it's not going to help you with that comparison. I can still show you what I did, and I do have that as a roll up as well. But so here in the yellow is what the attempt was to make it equal, and then we have here in these columns R through U. That's what actually happened, or what should have actually happened here for equal portfolio. And then we have, so sorry if you're all banging, it is 4th of July, so I guess my next door neighbors are doing fireworks and they just happen to sound like they're right over my RV here. But anyway, then we have the June distribution amount here, and then, it calculates how much would have been based off of owning here, how much distributions received. So if we look at the bottom, it has the project, it's estimated 167 shares at $3,000 something there, which comes out to be, like $19.01 a share. But it shows we would receive $136.86 in dividends, which is 82 cents a share, which is 52%. So that's how much we would have received by doing a equally weighted YMax portfolio ourselves. Now, if you just purchase YMax, so the way I've done this, and I talked about it last month, was instead of just like using whatever YMax's price was for today, I went through and just did it at equal purchases every Monday, right, for that dollar amount. And so that would come out to $20.78 a share at this point for June's distribution. And so based on that, the distribution of 153 shares would be $111.69, which is 73 cents a share. So not too bad. It's a 9-cent difference, 10% difference, 42 versus 52, but it's one of those things that can add up there. And then let's see, so this is our June adjusted. I'm a month behind, and no, I apologize. And then that 18% there is looking at the difference. So we have, the difference was getting paid $25.17 less, which basically was getting paid 18% less than if you had made your own YMax portfolio. So that's where we were for the month of June as far as, the adjusted. Now, if you also remember in the very first video, I had a there if we would have bought even shares versus equally weighted dollar amounts, and it seemed to do better. So then the second month I started the second project of, even shares versus equally weighted. So we'll go to this one. This will be the June that compares these two. And then again, these are the adjusted amounts. But again, they're based off of what I did, just adjusted. So it does have the correct amount of shares that it was supposed to have, whether I did or not. And then I'll still show you what I did. But like here for the month of June, the goal was 9 shares apiece. So that was the goal. And then you can see here we have our totals at the bottom. And then over here we had, if we attempted to equally weighted, right, with the June distributions. And then we could see at the bottom with the equal weight of 167 shares that we received the 136.86. And then if we had it even number shares, we had 169 shares. A little bit more money there, $31.99, so about $20-something more. But we would have received $152.16 a share. 15 cents total, 152.16 with 90 cents a share. So this case, you would have got 8 cents more if you had even shares. So, then I take all of this and I did a roll up. This will be brand new. So I did a roll up here. So this is basically what I just showed you, but these are for all the months, right? For April, May, and June. And again, these are going to be adjusted. So even though it's based off of the real data, they will be slightly adjusted. For example, even the month of April, down here, we didn't do equal shares. This one was just the first, test or example of if we did, and that's when it showed we would get more. So if we start here at the top for this is again the YMax estimate, and then I went back and I did it if they bought the shares, every week versus just picking some YMax amount and going with it. So I did go back and adjust these, so you can see If you held YMax and bought YMax, this is what you would be getting each month. I'm sorry. This is the divs here. This is what you would have gotten each month. These were the number of shares that you would have owned. This is the cost of those. So again, we started out with 1,000, then added 1,000, and then added another 1,000. Of course, we also had the distributions in there as well. And then, of course, this was the average price per share. And then these were the monthly distributions along with the yield. So that's going to be same thing down here. Just the top is the actual YMax. The second set is if we did it by equal weight, meaning we spent the same dollar amount on each one. And then at the bottom there, that's the one if we just bought the same number of shares. And remember, and if you didn't watch before, one of the things with the equal weighting is, buying. When to buy. Are you going to buy it all at once? Are you going to buy it here and there? Knowing that, the stock amounts are going to change. The weighting percentage will change as you go. There's all those things. And of course, when you're a low dollar amount, it doesn't matter so much if you buy a couple of shares one day because that's all you're buying for the month, right? But when you're talking large amounts of money, it could really, depend. And if you're like me, I'm looking for a deal. I'm always looking for a deal, right? But I would have to see my spreadsheet in order to know, where I'm supposed to be buying at, which most of the time I'm going to use my spreadsheet anyway. However, if you're one that, didn't really want to do that and just wanted to do equal shares, which is why I'd even done that to begin with as a test, you just know, okay, this month I'm buying 10 shares of everything, right? So then you just look at your portfolio and what you haven't bought or whatever in your brokerage account. So it was actually a lot easier to do the equal number of shares, and it seems to do better as well. So we can see up here, however you want to look at it, but we have the, the shares, number of shares, and actually let's just look at here. So because the dollar amounts are about the same on all these, I try to make them very similar, right? But they do have to actually equal up to some of those purchase amounts. But if you look here, we got almost 30, 70, and 111. And here we had almost 40, 84, and 136 for the equally weighted. Then if we looked at equal shares, we looked at 48, 97, and 152. So out of the three of these, in all 3 months, buying equal shares of everything actually has done better. The first 2 months was okay, maybe, but now we have 3 months in a row. Now for the 4th month, we will see, because right now we do have the July amounts for, or the July distributions and everything, but we don't know what the YMax distribution is. I've already built all that in here, and I've even started working on August. I will say for the month of July, I guess because I was on vacation, I really screwed up for my actuals, because I had down I was going to buy 10 of everything, and then I had extra money, so then I started buying more, but then I forgot to buy into the 2 new ones, which was GDXY and Snowy, which I didn't even know that they were even going to do Snowy to begin with, but I just totally forgot about them. So yeah, I guess I'm going to be buying into those this month, but that's why I would do the adjusted, because it's hard to compare if I didn't fully, do everything correctly, but that's okay, right? That's why I do the adjusted, and just to show it's okay, not to do everything. But with that said, I can show you. So this was the actual June, and you probably don't want to see all these numbers, and I don't even know, because I've already been dealing with July and moving on to August. I'm not sure, just trying to glance here what happened or what I didn't do. Yeah, so you can see up here in June, so like here, I should have bought 14, well I only bought 11. I don't know why. Like here, I was missing one. Here, I was missing a few. And I know why I didn't buy here for Murney, because I knew it was going to come down and I wasn't going to buy it at high. NVIDIA, I was again waiting for it to, come down some. But yeah. And then this one was overbought. I don't know what I did. And that's another thing that I had said last time is, going in and putting in orders to buy things and forgetting about it and then doing another one or whatever else. So then you're keeping up with stuff like that. Of course, I don't mind doing this. I like it. It's just me. Of course, if you're not somebody, you could just be like, you know what, the next day or whatever, you could just like, okay, I need to buy one of everything and just go ahead and buy it and be done with it. But me, I'm always looking for a deal, and I like to be in the middle of everything. It's just sometimes things happen and I don't finish. In fact, I was gonna finish it out for the month of July, but then I just couldn't bring myself, and that's where we come in our bias and our emotions, and I just couldn't bring myself to do NVIDIA, and it, of course, it's come down now, and it's going to come down even more with the high distribution that it's paying out that I don't recall it actually bringing in that much money on. So, but either way, it's going to allow me to buy it at a lower amount. Since NVIDIA has come down some and a large distribution. So I will at least go ahead. I think I'm going to buy at least half of the ones I need, and then I'll wait and see if it comes down some more. Of course, I'll be buying more into Snowy and GDXY. But let's go and just look at the roll up here. So what I've done here, okay, so this is where I have the actuals. So at the top, we have the YMax estimate that would go with this bottom actual. But I did, you can see my shares. I'm trying to look. And so let's just look at the month of June because, again, you can tell, right? You can tell that I'm still doing better than if I was holding YMax, right? I'm still doing better here on the equally weighted. Even if I'm not buying all the things I was supposed to be buying, I'm still doing better. So this was the June one here. Well, this is the one we just talked about. Yeah. It's the July one that's really significant. Which, we don't have the distribution yet for YMax, so it's really hard for July, so it's hard to go into that and compare that, which is why I've hidden the July data here. But anyway, so you can see what, I don't have like the differences here, but you can see I made like $22 more here on this in this month. This month was 17 more, and this month was 12 more. Of course, I'm adding $1,000 each month, right? So now if we want to look at the equal shares, then that's this right here on the right. Sorry, it won't let me go over anymore unless, add July. So let's just do that just to make it go on one screen. So we didn't do this in in April, so there is no actual for April. So we just have May and June here. But you can see we did better for the month of May. We made about $14 more. And the month of June, that's a significant amount more. That's about $30. That's about 25% more than if I was holding YMax. So, and again, this is actual and me not 100% doing it all equal. This is just my attempt. And I would say, like, some of these I forget to do them all and I don't spend all the money. So you can see here for the month of June, I would have had 3,000 something dollars. Because if it's, even though I didn't do April, I put the $1,000 in there to match the other account. So this would have had $3,000 put into it plus the couple of hundred in distributions. So as you can see, we had $3,200. So we had about $500 that I didn't spend in the month of June. that I could have spent. And then the distributions, of course, both of them would be higher, but we had money unused here. But you can see on these, this is actually wrong. No, that's right. It was 73.17 cents and then 73 cents. So that was right. But then you can see down here for the equal, we're getting 93 and 91 cents. So if we open this up and we look at my actuals, trying to get it all here. Here we go. If we look at the actuals for these, still, well, so it's really hard to compare here, these two, the way these are set up. I guess I didn't actually do a comparison of these together because they're not adjusted. It's hard to compare because you see here I spent $2,000. Oops. I spent $2,000 in the month of May, and in June here I spent $3,100, and you can see I didn't do that here. But if we look down here, at least at the yields and the cents per share, you can see that the equal shares is doing better, and it's easier to do. So that's where we stand for now, and then July will be coming up, and this is what I was talking about for YMax. I have, all the stock prices, and then, it's just showing that I do each time. It's not truly equal, right, because this is like 13, and then I had to go to 14 to get to use the full amount of money, and I do this to equal the full amount of money that is on the adjusted, so it's somewhat similar. So that's how I'm doing that, to do an estimate about, how much was spent for YMax. And then I'll show you, again, I'm not, my spreadsheet, I'm not fully happy, and they're actually, both spreadsheets are different. But just to give you an idea, it's like here, it tells me this month I'm going to buy 12 of everything. And then over here, this is telling me where I'm at. And this is this is me going into August. And of course, I should have already bought GDX and Snowy, and I screwed up on those this past month because, I was preoccupied with vacation and stuff. But, and I have columns all over the place, but what I'm really using is here. And this tells me, like, in the day, I can go in here and look where we're at on a change of the market, how many I need, what the current price is. And then I started doing a column. Well, this is like, if I bought, how many I needed with that, how much. I mean, there's just a bunch of craziness. That total would be this amount. How much money do I have? And so forth. And then I'll put orders, like, because I forget sometimes, like, would I put an order in for, a limit order or whatever that's sitting out there waiting to be filled, and something may get filled, and I just have to actually go look at those accounts to update my spreadsheet or whatever, because I like my spreadsheets. But for the even one, I really don't even have to have this. I could just go into that account, look at the portfolio. I could sort it by the change, for that day, and I could do it all that way. I just really like my spreadsheets because I am a spreadsheet person. And I can color code this real easily. I can, do whatever I want. Again, I don't have everything organized the way I want. And I have some things that are just odd places. They're on one places on one and not on the other. So, yeah, it's just a little crazy. But, and then of course I put up here the dollar amount. So the dollar that I put in there plus whatever it adds the dividends. Of course, that one I have an extra dollar amount because in the month of April, since we didn't have this, I made it equal whatever the other one got for dividends because I wanted both accounts to have the same exact dollar amount, so then I could compare overall those accounts together, which I guess is one thing that I didn't do here, which of course is hard when I'm not you know, truly spending the money every month. I'm not, you know, buying in. I'm not getting those distributions fully like I should in those accounts. So I should do a total return. And I guess this is what I had done before, and I forgot all about it. Let me check this real quick. So this is on the August one. All right, so let's go to the June so we can look at the overall for the actual, right? Not for the adjusted data. Let's look where I'm actually at. So if we look here, I know it's not set up great or anything, and I guess I need to figure out a different way to do this. But so what this is saying here, for our overall initial capital, we've lost $161.20. Now, I guess it would make more sense for that to be a percentage. So let me do a percentage real quick if it would stop suggesting a formula for me. Is that, yep. And then let's make that a percent. So we've lost about 5% of our initial capital. And then, which is, like I said, $161. So we have 165 shares. So I'm down here at the bottom. Just, I guess I can leave this. The top here, of course, is per share, but we're looking at it as the portfolio of YMax. So we really don't care about it in this case per share. We care about the overall. So in the bottom here in the middle, I don't know why that one's not bold. And I want it to be center. Okay, sorry. So we have 165 shares, and with that loss of $161 or 5%, that works out to about 98 cents a share. So then if we do that as a percentage, what did I do? I did not do divide. It's supposed to be this equals this divided by, come on, divided by, and then we're going to make that a percentage, which is going to be the exact same. So I don't know that we need that in both places. I don't know, we'll just leave it at the top. All right, so then we go down to the total dividend. So we've received, as of June, we received $260 in dividends, which is $1.58 a share. So overall, our total change is $98.91 or 60 cents a share. So this really isn't great, right? As far as losing 5% of our overall capital, but then I guess if we do our total, our total increase there is about 3%. Of course, we could do it here for distribution too, just because the other ones have percentages. And then, of course, in this case, it also sucks if you have this in a taxable account, which in this case it is. So I don't even know what my tax bracket is, but it's like 30 or 30 something percent is what I'd be taxed here. So in this case, it's not really great, right? We've lost a lot of our capital. We've received quite a bit of dividends to make up for some of that, or distributions make up for some of it. But then we only have $100. And then in the end, we probably paid all of that in taxes, just to say. Sorry, bringing up my calculator. So if it's 30%, we pay $78. So we would only have $20 after this. But that's to give you an idea. Now this is actual, and this is on the equally weighted. Now I'm going to try to copy these formulas. It's probably not going to work, but I'm going to copy them over to the equally weighted one. Okay. Yeah, I have them on the same exact cells. Okay, so if we go over to our June, if we go to the same area here at the bottom, same data, and then I just copy the formulas over, which is why those cells are white, because they were yellow. Let's say we'll just make them yellow again. So for the equally weighted ones, we've lost $78 of capital. Do we have a negative percentage on the other one? Yeah, okay. It's just because we make both areas yellow. And then I'll have to copy these on all the future ones, assuming I even keep this like this. But we've lost only almost 3% versus 5% on the other one. For the equally, we have 142 shares, so we've lost about 55 cents a share versus 98 cents a share on the other one. But then we have our total distributions. Of course, in this case, we've only done this 2 months also. But we received $206 in distributions, which is 7.5% increase. But overall, we are netting $128 in profit, which is 4.7%. Of course, this is all unrealized, and this is as of, whatever the market was at close on July 3rd. In this case, if we're just curious, because the other one we're basically saying we're at $20. This one, we have 206 at 30%. That's $62. Oop. So we'd have about $66 here if we're looking at after taxes. And then this is just for the month of June. Once the YMax distribution comes out, then I can show the July data as far as the comparison for those. But again, there's, I don't know why I just did that. There's pros and cons to doing this, and I know I'm showing lots of data and I'm all over the place. I don't know if I've done any of these videos specific, and this right here is brand new, and I was just trying to do it as a roll-up to help, give you that idea of just the last 3 months. Showing YMax versus doing it yourself equally weighted versus doing it yourself equal shares. And so far, equal shares has done the best. As you can see, we're about in the 90-cent range. So YMax is about the 70-cent range. The equally weighted has been around the 80-cent range, and then the equal shares has been around the 90-cent range. Now, for some reason, I was thinking that was not going to be the case for the equal for July. For some reason, I was thinking it was going to be a little bit lower, but it could just be on mine that's not adjusted because I did not buy into all the things. Yeah. So this is my July. Of course, this is not the adjusted, and as you can see, these are clearly not equally weighted. It looks like I'm going to be down to 76 cents here. We could also see a lot of red here, that a lot of these distributions, this is some of their lowest distributions, which we'll go over in another video. Of course, for the adjusted, that's not the right adjusted. I don't even know if I had this finished yet. I know I started it. Yeah, it's still going to be lower, but I think that's because overall the distributions for the month are lower. And again, so I copy this from the dividend sheet that I keep, and these are the color codes based on the distribution. So just looking here at all of this red, I know we have 3 greens, but all of this red tells me that we didn't have a great month. So now this makes me want to go back and go over the distributions, because I was looking at that before. Of course, I usually do that in my total return video. I didn't plan to do that tonight, but maybe I will. But anyway, I know this has been a very long video, and some of you that haven't followed along or been here through the whole YMax project may have questions or whatever else. So please feel free to ask. But again, the original point of this was just to show that you could build your own YMax. You don't have to buy YMax, pay the extra fee, and get the lower distribution amount. You can just buy your own. You can do equally weighted. You can do even shares, which again, so far for me, as I've been following this, doing it equally shares, you're actually getting more distribution, even more. So, but this was just, I did this as a project to show all of you, and I've done it for, like I said, the past several months, and every month I've just been adding $1,000 and then giving y'all an update showing you how everything's worked out. I don't know if anybody wants me to continue this or not. I guess that would be a question for the community, and you can let me know if you want me to continue doing this, I don't know, for a few more months, for the whole year, or just for now, keep doing it. Just let me know. Again, I'm just adding $1,000 a month to it, and yeah, it's been fun. So let me know what you think, and I will talk to y'all later. Thank you. Bye.